I genuinely hear nothing. I hear nothing. Nothing. Don't make me close one more door. Hey everybody, Stephen, don't trust this man. I had a thought. So I was in church because I'm a Christian and I'm going to heaven. I was in church and I had this thought. I can't remember now the genesis of the thought. I was thinking about my dad, and my dad's been on my mind of late. I don't want to get into all that just now, unless I already have. I was also remembering how I don't watch my videos once they're done. So I can't remember and I don't script. I don't, what's the word? Oh yeah, plan for these. So I have no idea sometimes what I have or have not said or talked about. I had the thought, I was remembering how all my memories of my dad, if you took all the memories of my father, and now I'm working this train of thought out in real time, while we record, so you get to watch, you get to see it all. No. But I was thinking about how for all the things my dad and I talked about, all the things that when I think about my childhood might give me pause, or things I struggled with, or whatever, anything that might have something like a negative connotation, the one thing I remember the most are his comments and our conversations, our discussions, if you will, around a cluster of behaviors all to do with my appearance. Shaving versus not shaving. Bing! Cutting my hair short versus not cutting my hair short. And then tucking my shirt in, which I'm wearing a sweater, but my shirt below is not tucked in. Now, let me provide this extra bit of context that is unrelated to my father, and that is that, as I have talked about before, and I remember this, I have fought both my actual weight and the way my weight makes me perceive myself for a large portion of my adult life. And so not tucking my shirt in, unrelated to my dad, sometimes is due to the fact that I think that helps me not seem so fat. That's a separate conversation. But I do want to continue sometime, not now. So shaving, hair, beard, and tuck your shirt in. And that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about how for all the good and all the bad, my dad was sometimes the only parent at my Little League baseball games and practices. He was there, right? My dad took time with me. I remember some really important conversations that I had with my dad that God used to sort of help direct some of the really major paths in my life, and they were good conversations. Oftentimes when I think about myself and my dad, I think about some of the things that I carry as a result of my childhood that might be negative, but it occurs to me even in this moment that some really great moments. Me, my mom, and my dad, and my siblings, my family, really great family memories. But that aside, for all the bad stuff, the things I remember the most are how insistent my dad was on the idea that you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And for him, that meant that it was absolutely crucial that I have hair that I could part and comb, that I not have facial hair or stubble, and that I always tuck my shirt in. And those things are with me even to this day. Oftentimes in the past, my wife will say something like, or will have said something like, hey, it would look nice if you did this, or maybe there'll be a comment about my outfit in general, and I will immediately be in that place of defensiveness, whereas it's if my dad's standing in front of me, and I'm like, well, who are you to judge the quality and the content of my character based on whether or not this shirt is buttoned to the top or tucked in, or whether or not these jeans are too long or too short, or these socks. To this day, I recoil. I hate the notion of being told what to wear. I hate the idea of a dress code unless it's my idea. Unless I'm like, when a thing where like Zuckerberg only wears like gray t-shirts and jeans and the same pair of shoes. Like that's like, oh, that's kind of cool, whatever, But I don't like being told what to wear. I wouldn't like it if he told me I had to do that. I'd be like, well, who are you? You're not my dad. And if you were my dad, stop, Dad. But then I started thinking, great, so what about all that? I mean, I'm 40, right? I have responsibility to sort through that a bit, to let God into that place in my life and figure out my relationship with both with clothes and with people in my life now who care about me, who might be like, hey, you look ridiculous. And that doesn't mean that they think that they're not commenting on my character. I thought about all that, but then I thought, what's a, what's something else? Like, something else? I felt like there's something else there for me to get, and that was this. This is the whole thing. All that I've just been saying is just a long-winded, overly verbose way of saying this. It occurred to me that as parents, we should really give a lot of thought to the things that matter the most to us. No fear-mongering there. No melodrama, no hyperbole. I'm not saying that if you're not careful about it, you'll ruin your children's lives. My life isn't ruined. I have a good life. I'm very thankful. My dad was in some ways obsessed with what people thought of him, and I get that. And I understand that he was doing two things at once. He was, in his eyes, protecting me from not being seen well, and he was, in some ways, repairing his reputation through me. I understand that, and that's fine. And I know that God doesn't look at me and think, if only you tucked your shirt in. I know that's not how God sees me. My dad didn't ruin my life. I would never want to intimate that if you're not careful, you could ruin your child's life if you focus on the wrong things. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it occurs to me that as parents, it's an interesting thought exercise, and it's an interesting way to take stock of how we parent, to stop and think, wait, in 20 years, what will my kids remember mattered to me? Maybe you're okay with the conclusions you come to. I'm not going to comment on what those conclusions might be. I'm not going to comment on what in 20 years your kids should remember you focused on. Today, maybe later. I simply want to say that I believe it is true, and it is possible that in X number of years, when your children are adults, they will remember the things you focused on. And that might seem obvious to you. It's something I actually, when I thought about it this morning in church, I thought, oh, whoa. Just like that. That's how the thought sounded in my head. And I thought that's interesting. I thought, what will my son remember as having mattered to me the most? What will my daughter? What behaviors will be informed by the emphasis I placed on things she does now? That's it. And then I wanted to come home and record this thought for you. Maybe in case it could be helpful. And if all it makes you think is, yeah, no duh, you're an idiot. You should have thought of that before. Well, that's okay. Pray for me. I need it. But if it's a good reminder for you, then great. Thanks be to God. So, what will your kids remember about what matters to you most? The way you interact with them. So anyway, my name's Stephen. You know all the stuff. You know my email address, stephen@don'ttrustthisman.net, all the socials, whatever. Until we're together again, be well.